Thank you for having me along. My name is Kaitlyn. I'm the Research Support Coordinator in the library at Murdoch University and going to be chatting about review and that of our portals, profiles in the research portal. And I have an alternative title here because I thought that sounded a bit boring. So it's inspired by a Talking Heads song, Once in a Lifetime. Well, how did we get here? I would like to acknowledge that Murdoch University is on the lands of the Whadjuk and Bindjareb Noongar people and pay my respects to Noongar elders past and present. I would also like to pay my respects to all First Nations people and the traditional owners of the land that you may be joining from today. Murdoch implemented Esploro in early 2023, which is an integrated profiles and repository system. My talk today will cover a review of the role of profiles in our Explorer instance and then bring it back to some broader takeaways of having an integrated system. This is a broad overview of the timeline, showing some of the key events here. So we had some extended leave and resourcing gaps and changes, which led to me coming in as coordinator in mid-2024, as represented by that red box there. So really a key point here is that I've been reviewing decisions and configurations that were not made by myself and also made when our area was just trying to stay on top of the day-to-day. The research portal brings together repository, publications reporting, grant information and profiles, and the three squares here are to represent that these functions were performed by separate areas prior to 2023, with the library looking after the repository only. Our profiles are academic profiles rather than the system default of researcher profiles, so that teaching-focused academics can also have profiles. At implementation, this is how the profiles were seen based on what we found with the review. So academics have an academic profile at the centre there. The research outputs were brought in by the old repository and in the future will be brought in via a smart harvesting mechanism. We had comms experts driving the communication. So we had an academic from media and communication and our previous digital experience coordinator driving these communications with messaging around populating profile, and you can add affiliations. The digital experience coordinator from the library left a few months after that. The promotional material, activities and projects had more general guidance. Things like you can add activities such as teaching or supervision, rather than this is how you would add an HDR supervision. The promotion was really reflective of the expertise of those people involved, and it would have benefited from having more of an understanding of the role of the profiles in the system. Having said that, there have been lots of updates to the system, including functionality and integrations, and with our resourcing gaps, reviewing those updates and implementing them had fallen away a bit. So that promotion may have reflected how the system was at the time. On review, this is how the kind of relationships between everything and the importance of the different things, the weightings was what I found. Research outputs are one pillar, and the library looks after this through the repository. The academic profile is another pillar, which is based on the researcher entity. The profiles don't have to be public, and the public profile part was a big part of the communication. And I've actually recommended that we change the default visibility of those profiles to private until key information is added. For the grants, activities, teaching and supervision projects, the things surrounding it, again, they are separate things that can be linked to research outputs and researchers. With the affiliations, this is actually quite important. So the messaging was researchers can add affiliations. New researchers come into the system with a Murdoch University affiliation. If someone is wanting a publication report for a school, for example, if that affiliation is not correct, then that's going to be a bit tricky because the data will be incomplete. With the smart harvesting mechanism as well, one of the things that really needs is a meaningful unit affiliation. So some of the decisions around that of having the researchers do it has actually meant that a lot of that data is incomplete and it's a bit tricky. Since undertaking the review, we've been working more with areas to update the affiliations on our end rather than expecting individual academics to do so. And looking further ahead, we hope to leverage some of our other systems to reduce duplication of effort. To bring that back to some broadly applicable key takeaways or lessons rather than just our system and our experience, With this type of system, with the profiles that are integrated with research management system or repository, I think it's really important to understand how the role of the profiles works with all those connections. There's a lot of dependencies and connections, and so understanding how they will fit together is really important. If information is important for that system functionality and requirements, like reporting on publications, don't rely on the academics to input that. Look to integrate with other systems or have a procedure for regular updates. If you're allowing academics to add information, provide clear and specific guidance for them. We did not do that, and now we've got some really interesting ways of describing different activities, which is somewhat useful because now we've got the data on what types of things they're wanting to add to their profiles and what they would like to showcase. And finally, this has been my main takeaway through this, is that people are what make systems work. And I think this ties in nicely with some of the presentations from yesterday and also today. There was a perception from the review of what I found through the review that things would be a bit more automated or that harvesting and integrations would work a little bit differently. And with having those gaps and changes in leadership in terms of the functionality and seeing what had been updated, things just kind of dropped away there. So those people and then lack thereof are really important. Promotion engagement as well as part of that is ongoing. So again, with those people leaving and those relationships, that had kind of made things a little bit harder in terms of the promotion, the ongoing promotion of profiles. Point also captures for me the importance of the user communities and responsiveness of vendor, not just for us with Esporo, but for any product or platform. So people are what make systems work and keep working. And that is the end. Thank you.